The information on this podcast from Dr. Troy-Munson is meant to educate the listener on a variety of health issues. It is not meant to diagnose or treat any conditions.
Has your health been covered up? Today, it's Revealing Wholeness with Dr. Troy-Munson, presented to you by Infinity Whole Health.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Troy-Munson on Revealing Wholeness. Today we get to talk about something really fun, E. coli. And in the news, didn't we just have something in the news?
Yes, we did. They're recalling the largest amount of all cuts of beef that they've ever recalled because they've discovered that it has this terrible bacteria in the beef.
We hear about E. coli all the time, and what's interesting is that our gut has E. coli. And so Escherichia coli is the bug, and we have different variations through different regions of the planet. So we're here in the northwest of the United States, and all around here you're going to find people that have basically similar bacteria in their gut. If we go down south, let's say, towards Mexico, we're going to find perhaps different E. coli. So you could literally go from Florida to California, let's say for vacationing, and you could wind up feeling pretty ill. Where most people, they would associate it by going to Mexico and getting E. coli poison. How do we avoid that? Why? I remember one time I went to Mexico with a buddy. We were down there, and he got violently ill, and I'm out every night dancing and things and partying up because I was back in my 20s. And what's funny is, I look back and I think, if you don't have a strong digestive system, which he didn't, he had been through Desert Storm and other issues, and a lot of military vaccines and things like that, and he knew that he had a messed up digestive system, and so he succumbed quite literally because we both ate pretty much the same food. And I don't consider myself at that time in my life to have a very strong digestive system, but I had no trouble at all. If we get something in our food, let's jump back 400 or 500 years ago. Was there a sink in every home?
Well, no, there wasn't.
And so we ate things off of the ground or out of the ground, or, meat that may or may not. We didn't wash our hands when we prepared the meat. If we cooked it, we still didn't wash our hands when we handled the meat afterwards.
Very true.
And so, this bacteria and stuff was everywhere, and yet, people say, well, yeah, but they didn't live very long. I said, well, that's not actually very true. We know statistically they had a shorter lifespan, but because a lot of people didn't survive past age 2. Many people, once they survive past age 2, they live quite a long time. And so we always had these foods around, and if the germ theory, like we talked about a couple weeks ago on vaccines, if the germ theory were actually true, it wouldn't be a theory anymore, it'd actually be a germ fact. And we would now be subject to having disease just by a virus or bacteria being somewhere. But as we know, we cannot grow healthy living tissue, bacteria and viruses on healthy living tissue. So E. coli is kind of the same thing. It really is in our food, and if our digestive system is weak, it actually takes a hold, and now we don't digest it before it digests us.
Yes.
So things like parasites, funguses, candida or yeast, viruses, all this stuff is around us all the time. And that means we just need a stronger digestive system, and that really is enzyme potency in our body. And where do enzymes come from but the pancreas? So the pancreas, how can we overtax our pancreas? By eating grains. Spike blood sugar all the time. Well, that disrupts the pancreatic function and makes it more and more taxed. So one of the main enzymes coming out of the pancreas that really digests everything in our stomach is called pepsin. And so pepsin is like an afterburner. So we have hydrochloric acid, which will push our acidity down in our stomach to about a 2.5. Once it hits that 2.5, it activates pepsin, and pepsin drives it down to a 1.5. That then digests everything. So microbes that are in our food, parasites that might be in our food, all that. So the stronger your digestion, the healthier you'll be. You can break down proteins better, absorb vitamins out of your vegetables, and all that wonderful stuff with a great digestion. And plus it makes you have more energy because your digestive system is easier. We take a lot of energy out of the body to digest our food. So to give you an example, I had a couple come in, and it's probably, I'd say 12 years ago. And they were in Europe, and both of them came back with E. coli. So they both had tremendous abdominal gut cramping, pain. It was more pain than they've ever experienced in their entire life. Waves of pain. If you've ever had E. coli, it's not fun. I have actually had it once. And they heard that I could possibly help them, and they called me up and I told them what they needed to do. And the wife came in and got the supplement that she needed, and within 24 hours she was fine. And the husband said, I'm fine, it'll be okay, I'll get over it. And after 3 days, the wife came in and she said, I need to pick up a bottle for my husband. He's ready to take it. I said, oh, he suffered enough, has he? And she said, yes, he suffered enough. And within 48 hours, his was done. Usually E. coli, to let it run its course, can be as long as 5 to 6 weeks of abdominal pain. Wow. It's pretty brutal. So it's kind of fun to be able to do something and watch the body simply digest what was in the gut and get rid of the E. coli and normalize itself. So again, if some of you out there can see my old podcast where I did a fermentation podcast, a lot of these principles will be placed there too, and so it's not a bad thing to review. Until next time, we won't talk about E. coli, but until next time, I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Revealing Wholeness.
This concludes another episode of Revealing Wholeness with Dr. Troy Munson. If you have any questions concerning this podcast or others, you can reach Dr. Munson by email at chiroman, that's CHIRO man, at dr.com. Or you can call him at his office during office operation hours at 360-893-8586. This show is sponsored by Infinity Whole Health on the Disruptors Podcast Network.